Good morning, everybody. Let's go ahead and get started. Let me know if you guys can hear my audio and see my screen in the chat box. Just give me a little Y or a yes there. Hope everybody's having a fantastic morning so far. Hopefully your trading's off to a good start. If you've traded already, if not, that's great. We'll go ahead and get that going, and looking forward to a great new year and a great new week to start our trading year with the banker's close. Let's go ahead and jump into this. As always, I need to remind you guys about the risks involved in this market. You can lose all or more than your initial investment if you're not careful. So please be aware of how many pips you're risking on each trade, in addition to how big your lot size is and ultimately how that would affect your account if you were to lose money. So make sure that you're going through that process each and every time that you take a trade. Awesome, guys. Well, let's do this. I'll just pull some stuff over here. Let's jump into see what news we have today. I don't believe there's any news other than there's some Frank CPI or Frank. We have inflation tonight with the franc. So everything should be on the table. We should be able to trade anything we want to trade today, which is great. So let me pull up Trading View and take a look at our three pairs: Euro franc, pound franc, and Euro pound. So let me pull these up real quick. Let me move this out of the way. Okay, so here's Euro pound. Let me put the Bollinger Bands on it. Coming into kind of a low here, kind of around the mid Bollinger Band though. So let's see if there's any. We're at some good support, but in terms of demand levels, not a ton of demand unless you're counting this as a demand area, which certainly could be, but I want to see if I can find something better than that. Let's try the Euro franc. Euro franc's at a high, so just the opposite. We're hitting up at some resistance here. Only real demand isn't really until kind of this area up here, and really it's not up until here where you're going to find some of that. So that one could keep going up just a little bit more before it comes down, and that's fine. We may start with that one. Let's see the pound franc. This one is definitely at a big high here. Let's see. Wow, crazy high. Hit this up here. Let's see, where's the next, any other demand, or excuse me, supply. Supply would be probably about right here, and that would have to go another 14 pips against us before we'd get a move that we're hoping for, which is fine. We could go with that one too. Absolutely, all of that's on the table. Trying to think. Let me pull up Sonar Lab just to cheat up a little bit. I want to see if there's any other levels that I should be aware of. So they're saying, yeah, basically where I put my demand, my supply box, Sonar Lab has their supply box almost exactly in the same area. So we know if this came up a little more, probably hasn't too much more to go before we get pullback. Let me try that Euro franc again. Yeah, that one's not as good. Let's see, Euro pound. They're just not saying that there's any demand there unless you go to a higher time frame, which on the higher time 30-minute, it's saying there is some demand in here. So that's good to know. Like either one of these could actually work. Let's see if you go back here. Okay. Just trying to find, I'm just looking for clues right now. That's all we're doing, trying to find clues as to, which one is going to be the better trade. Yeah, they're just saying that that's the demand right there. Which I could certainly see us coming into here at the end of the day and getting a move up. So we could use that one for the banker's close trade. But I do like this pound franc. I know it's on this rip and tear right now, but there are several levels of supply up here. So as long as you're willing, so here's the context. If you're willing to sell the pound franc right now, it could go 35 pips against you before it comes back in your favor. So I do want to make you aware of that if you elect to use the pound franc as your option. Okay. So that's on the table for sure. Let me look at that euro franc one more time. Yeah, and this one's pretty good too, actually. I might actually go with this one because yeah, the risk is a little less. 27 pips is your max risk. This is the ideal supply area up here. And we can go ahead and start selling now. Yeah, I'm going to do that one. Okay, I'm going to hop into this guy. Let me jump over to my other. I got a couple of accounts I need to take this on real quick. So let me head over to the Euro franc, and then I'll talk about the trade I just took as well about an hour ago. But I need to short the Euro franc. Let me go ahead and just grab a couple of shorts over here. Okay, perfect. And then let me grab just a starter position here. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'll just start with 7 trades. That's good. Okay, so yeah, Euro franc got that started. Let me go back to a 5-minute. We'll get this started. Okay, that looks good. All right, yeah. So this will be the banker's close today. Euro franc. You could you could do the euro pound long or the pound franc short. Again, with much context and disclaimer here, I do need to emphasize the fact that this is going to be a good trade. It's going to work out great. However, just please be aware the way I've done this analysis today suggests that there's a possibility we could come up into this supply area by the end of the trading day before it comes down. Now, once we get up to here, I'm going to be adding to the position. If it comes up to there, I'll be adding to this position. And then when I get my pullback, that's where I'm going to make all my money. Okay. Is on that pullback right there. So that pullback could happen now. Like I could get a pullback, down 10, 15, 20 pips, and that'll be a great little banker's close trade today. Or the possibility is this goes up into this supply, finds supply, hits a wall, and then pulls back in supply. And then we start to pull back and make our money that way. So as long as you have that context understood and it makes sense to you, and you've got your the amount of trades you're willing to take, the number of lot sizes that you're willing to get into, then you'll be just fine. But again, I do just want to emphasize that there is a chance that this could go against us, 23 pips per trade, 24 pips per trade before you get a move to the downside. I don't think it'll take that far, but it is definitely possible. If it goes beyond that, I really don't know if I'm interested in selling beyond that. I mean, technically there's another supply box up here where the banks might be willing to sell with us. But I think that would be kind of crazy for the market to go all the way up there without any news to begin the year. To break above this resistance would be kind of absurd. So I'm willing to work with what the market gives me now, but to be clear, I'm also in a starter position. I'm not putting all my chips in on this trade just yet. I'll definitely put in a lot more and get a little heavier as this market kind of goes to the upside a little bit. If it goes to the upside, if it doesn't, that's fine. Like we'll make the money on the starter position. If it comes down kind of into this area right here, sure, I'll take all my profits and we'll call it a good day, a good start to the year. We can do that. But as of right now, I'm just in a hole. I'm just going to hold what I've got. And yeah, they're just basically at break even right here, down a half of a pip on those beginning positions. Now, I did take a position this morning on the franc yen. I do want to talk about that trade. And it's a more of a swing trade. Let's take a look at it. Actually, I like to do it on Trading View. Let me show you what's going on over here. Let me remove all this stuff. Let's go to the franc yen. I may have gotten in a little early on this trade, but nonetheless. Okay, so this thing has been coming down like crazy. Look at this. From the end of last week, it's just been plummeting just in a big, big way. And I don't normally like to buy stuff that's falling back like this did in such a big way. I mean, this pulled back really, really far. That's a huge move to pull back. So why did I feel the need to buy right here? Um, because normally I don't want to trade this way, right? Who wants to put themselves in front of a moving train, right? I don't normally buy stuff like this, except I have I have a strong validating reason to get in. Like I have comp compensating factors, whatever you want to call them. I have reasons to be in this trade here. So if you go and look at the H1 chart, come over here. This is why I got in. So this whole box right here is, or even actually that's really it right there. This is the demand. Okay, demand is right here. This market pulled, let's see, this was all the way back in August and July. So this market pulled back big time over here, made a little void, made this consolidation. After this consolidation formed, we had a massive breakout. Okay. And this thing just went off for like months, just went off for months. Okay. And just kept going and going and going, you know, hundreds or let's see, thousands of pips actually. Look at this. This thing just went and went. Look at this. Just go. Yeah, that's over 1,000 pips. Kind of crazy. Now we're for the first time since July of last year, August of last year, we're finally coming back into this zone. Okay. And this is the zone that broke structure, right? Like you can definitely identify that there's some strong support and resistance through this area. You could argue that this is the structure right here. You can see support, support, resistance, resistance, support, resistance, resistance, and the market broke through that. And what caused it? It's whatever they did right here. So we know this is a demand zone for the banks, right? This is absolutely a demand zone. So since that's a demand zone, this is a buying area. Okay, so obviously I've bought several positions in here. My stop is down here below this demand zone. That's where I'm stopping out. But keep in mind, like, look at this. So my stop on this guy, you're looking at 76 pips, which is kind of a bigger stop from a scalp trading standpoint. Remember, this is not a scalp trade though, right? So if I am taking a position here, this is what my position would look like. I'm going for a 3-to-1 on these types of trades. So 3-to-1 would put you at something like that. Okay. So yes, I do have a lot of confidence that we are going to find some support through here. I'd be very surprised if the banks blew past this and went below this. That would be kind of absurd to me. I don't know how or why they would do that when all the demand is in this area. So I am expecting something very different to come out of this market. I'm not expecting this to continue lower. I'm expecting at some point today or tomorrow, even in the next couple of days, to see this thing just take off. Now, where do we get out on this trade? Obviously up here, I have a general take profit up here with the 3-to-1 reward to risk ratio. I would say a good area to also close some profit would be like right here. And that would give you like 100 pips. So a minimum of 100 pips would be like a minimum target, and maybe feel free to take some profit on the trade after you've made 100 pips on each order. But I mean, let's see, I wouldn't close yourself short below that. Like I would at least get to there. Yeah, that's exactly 100 pips away. Yeah, if you close for plus 50 pips, it's a mistake, in my opinion. If you close for plus 60 or 75 pips, it's a mistake. And, I don't really want you guys to make money on mistakes. I want you to make money intentionally, right? So obviously I'm down a little bit on this trade. You can see here's my orders. I'm down 38 pips on each one. I'm not expecting it to stay that way. It might even be a good time to add. However, I've taken kind of my max position on a swing trade already. So I'm kind of stuck with what I've got, which is fine. So I'm holding this trade. And yes, like I said, I'm looking for a 3-to-1 ultimately on when everything's said and done. I'm looking for a 3-to-1 reward to risk ratio. Okay. What else did I want to mention about this? Let's see. No, it's just a great little trade. It really is. I mean, you know, I would have never really wanted to buy anywhere else along this move down. Anywhere along here, I wouldn't have wanted to buy until now. Now you're looking at a massive demand zone that's been in the process of being created since July and August of last year. And it's this right here. And it's pretty obvious that this is a demand area, right? Whatever they did here caused all sorts of breakouts that never pulled back. In fact, this is huge. We've never tapped in to this demand before. Never. So that actually just gave me even more confidence. Like, yeah, we've never tapped into it. So yeah, it's never been tapped into. So yeah, because usually if the market's been tapped in, for example, this was one right here. You can see there's a little consolidation going on right there. And the market pulled back, tapped into it, pulled back, tapped in, pulled back, tapped in, and then it went up from there. So how likely is that one to work out in the future if it's already been tapped into? Not as likely, right? So it pulled back, tapped into here, and then went up. Um, yeah, it didn't work out really well because it's already been tapped into, right? So that's why I'm thinking this is going to be an even better trade. It's because, you know, we've never touched this one before. So I'm definitely feeling pretty good. Definitely feeling pretty good. All right, guys. So that's going to be my swing trade. So make sure you have swing trading context and swing trading eyes on the market there. When you're trading, um, when you're trading swing trades, right? When we're doing these, when we're doing these, when we're doing these bankers close trades, right? Context can be a little different, right? Like with this type of trade, you know, we're looking for a take profit. In fact, let me move these up with the bankers close. Let me move these up just a little bit. These targets somewhere in here, I'd like to take my profits right in this general area. Again, it's a short on the Euro franc. Okay. And that's going to be my banker's close trade right there. So I'm going to let that sit, do its thing. Again, just as a reminder, and then I'm going to show you some other stuff that I've been doing. But as a reminder, when you pull up the higher time frame on the Euro franc, yeah, like a 30-minute or an hourly even. Here, let's do Sonar Lab. Yeah, do a 30-minute. This is where I'm thinking the market may go. So it's still possible that this could go up to here today, which is, you know, 25 pips away or so. So definitely keep that in mind. But otherwise, it's actually starting to come down, which I'm happy about. Like we're starting to see it move in our favor. But there's a truckload of supply up here that the banks are selling, which might be why it's pulling back already. Like they know there's supply up there. There's a wall of supply, so it's harder to send the market beyond that. But it is possible that the market may want to tap into that a little bit more and then come down. But so far, so good. Like I'm so far happy. Quick thing to remember so that we're on the same page. I've already made 972.6 pips today. And so anything beyond 972.6 would be considered profits that we make together. So I just want to make that distinction. and make sure that we're clear on that. In fact, I may want to write that down just because I just need to keep track of this. 972.6. Okay, perfect. Okay, so we'll see if those come down and hit some of these targets down here. That would be ideal. That'd be super ideal if we could get them to come in through this area and close out. Let me show you where I made most of these pips last night. I took an overnight trade, and I'm going to start sending more of these overnight trades out to you guys. Technically, the trade I took this morning is kind of like an overnight trade because it's a swing trade. I'll most likely be holding that trade for the next day or so. So, take those trades if you'd like. If you want to have more diversification with the type of trading that you're doing, take, obviously the banker's close is awesome, but it's not going to work for everybody because it is a specific time of the day. And if you cannot allocate time during that time of the day, then you're going to want a different strategy, right? And that's why I try to provide overnight / swing trades so that you can hop into these, as they come along, right? So we're just letting our bankers close trades cook right now and bake. As we let it bake, I want to show you some of this other stuff that I'm doing. So the trade I took last night was this. It was this NZD CAD. Let me go ahead and plot my orders on here so you can see what I did. Here, let's go plot trades. See if I can get these to pop up here. Okay, yeah, here they are. So I sold up here last night. Sold a bunch of orders right there. And then I got out kind of gradually, right? I'm a big believer. You guys will learn this from me. You've learned this from me in the past too. I'm a huge believer in scattering your take profits, right? Peppering the market with your take profits throughout an area that you find acceptable. The reason why is because nobody knows exactly how far the market's going to go. You can get a pretty good idea like how far the market could go. Like with this trade down here, this is my most profitable trade. I had an idea that the market would go down this far, but I wasn't quite sure if it would go much lower than that. Sure, it went just a little bit lower, but I didn't know it was going to go, well, it didn't go it didn't go too much further than that, right? Like it went 18, 20 pips in my favor beyond where I got. My best trade closed out for like 118 pips of profit last night. But yeah, I could have squeezed another 25 pips out of that. But now I'd be up to here. So I am glad that I kind of averaged out of the trade. It's a huge, you got to learn how to do it successfully. And I'll teach you, different things you can do. But it'll just protect you from massive losses, and it will ensure that you make profits on trades that go against you. For example, this trade technically would have gone against me, right? From its lowest low down here to where it is now, it would have gone against me 85 pips, right? So it is important to make sure that you are taking profits when they come available, because they're not always going to be there. Okay. So why did I sell right here? This is the magic question, right? Why did I sell right there? So last night I was coming in here, I was looking for a lot of trade setups, and in fact, let's actually go to TradingView, because I just love TradingView so much more in terms of chart analysis. Let me remove everything. Let's go to TradingView. Let's go to the NZD CAD. Okay, so when you come over here on an H1, let's do H1. Okay. Yeah, here's the market. If you pull up Sonar Lab, you'll see there's a ton. Last night, there was two pretty strong supply levels up here, right? When it's purple or blue, that's supply. And when it's green, that is demand. Okay. Demand means that there's demand, meaning the market wants to send it higher. If it's blue, that means there's supply, meaning it's too heavy at these higher prices and people are willing to send it lower. Okay. There's too many. Supply is like quantity. quantity of assets, quantity of currency. It's too much of it, so naturally we come down. We've seen that with the housing market recently. We had, like in 2020, we had a lack of housing, so we had demand. That has now flipped. We are seeing home prices come down here, at least in the United States. I don't know how it is in the rest of the world. Home prices have come down. In most places, at least in the West where I live, home prices have come down 20% in the last 6 months. It's kind of crazy. But also I feel like expected, right? Anyway, that's another topic. So supply sends the market lower, demand sends the market higher. So as I was looking at this last night, I saw these supply levels up here where the market was. And then if you look closely, you'll see, look at these highs. So each high is a little bit lower than the previous high, or at least this high is lower than this high and this high back here. Also, this pin bar is kind of revealing. You can see that the market tried to go higher and then failed and then came back. Sure, it tried to go lower here, but I think that was during rollover. So during rollover, those types of bars don't really matter. So I didn't really count that one. And let's see, the other reason is if you look at, let me see if I can see this on the H1, not as much. If you go to a D1, check this out. On the D1, this area, well, obviously tons of supply up here, but where I sold last night was right here, which is kind of funny because it looks like a demand area on a D1, but Sonar Lab's not always accurate. So I do want to make that distinction as well. But when you look at this, oh, one quick thing. Are we making profits yet? We're close. 1 second. I want to see if we're about hitting take profits here because we're close. If we haven't already, no, we haven't quite hit them yet, but let's see, because we're getting close though. Let's see on the bankers close trade. Oh, we got close. Look how close that is to hitting that take profit there. Well, we should probably, let's see, when should we, oh man, I kind of wonder if we should have taken 1 or 2 trades off. That's okay. I'm willing to hang on. I don't know, but you guys can go ahead. You guys can do what you guys want to do. I think it's not a bad time to take a few profits, but I'm gonna hang on because I know that if this market goes back up, I'll have another chance at it. So if this goes up to here, I'm gonna have more opportunities to make even more money today. So I'm gonna take another stab at this, but I think maybe I need to be a little bit more realistic with some of these targets. Let me bring some of these up here just a little bit. Something like this. Still about where I've got them, but I'm just going to move some of these just up a little bit more to be a little more realistic with this market. Okay, that's fine. It looks good still. Okay, I'm going to, let me actually pull this chart to the other screen so I can pay attention. And if something happens, I'll pull it back over. Okay, so yeah, talking more about this trade on the D1. If you look here closely on the D1, this used to be a really good supply area. Why? Because this is the last little supply before a massive break to the downside, right? Now it did blow past it right here. But nonetheless, I noticed that we were coming and touching right back into it, on top of the fact that the H1 had this area as, so this is a D1 supply, this purple area. And then if you pull up Sonar Lab, they're saying this is H1 supply. So you kind of had multiple time frames indicating that there's quite a bit of supply in this area. And then you had a lower high form right here, a couple of lower highs, and a pin bar and all that. And so to me, that was enough of a clue to be like, huh, I can take a good reward to risk ratio on this trade. It may not work, sure, but I saw enough here that got me kind of excited. So, I just placed a trade like this. I placed a short position here, stop loss below or above this high, that's fine. And you're just targeting, 3-to-1 or almost 3-to-1, and that's exactly what we got last night. Right. Just a beautiful little trade. Beautiful little trade right there. So I'll be taking more trades like that. I'll be posting more of those at night. Technically, like I said, this Frank Yen trade is that type of trade. This is just one I took on my own. This is one I've taken with you guys and I've taken personally. Frank Yen buy. If you actually pull up a 2H and do Sonar Lab, look at this. The same area I drew out is the same area they're saying. They've got multiple demand boxes right here. So this is demand, right? Definitely demand right here. This is a great trade. You do not want to miss this trade. Okay. It's already starting to, let me look at this other account. Yeah, it's really starting to move. Yeah, you don't want to miss this one. Because again, Sonar Lab has this obviously, right? That's going to be there. But if you do your own analysis, right, and come back to the last time it was over here, you can absolutely see, you can do your own analysis and find out that's demand, right? Because it broke structure. The last time it was here, it created such a large move that it broke several structure points from whatever they did right here. And it's never been tapped into since July or August. Never. It's never been tapped into. So this is the first time it's been tapped into. This is, in my opinion, going to be the trade of the beginning of the year. Like, make this a memorable trade. Now, do I want you to go mortgage your house and put everything on this? No. But could this be a huge trade that gets you on the right foot? Yes. Could be a great trade to put you on the right foot for the beginning of this year. Absolutely. Definitely snag this order right here. You don't want to miss that. And then again, if you pull up Sonar Lab, yeah, they're saying the same thing. There's two demand boxes right in the middle of what you and I are talking about. And then let's see, 3H, does 3H have it? Yeah, 3H has got two demand boxes right there too. You know, yeah, it's definitely there, right? So yeah, definitely worth trading, definitely worth taking. H1 doesn't have it. H1 doesn't have a demand box here. The reason why is because it happened so long ago that the H1 doesn't even work. It doesn't even work to show you that there's demand here. That's why I suggest that if you're looking for confirmations, looking for trades, definitely try to seek out different timeframes with Sonar Lab to see if you can't find it. But ultimately, Sonar Lab should really just be kind of an assist, right? It should only help you from what you already know. Okay. So a lot of times when I'm looking for my trades at night, I just completely hide Sonar Lab. I move that out of the way, or I've got other order blocks like this one from Lux Algo. I delete that one. I mean, I have it. I can pull it up whenever I want, but I try to find these on my own first. And then if I can get confirmation, great. If I don't get confirmation, I might be a little bit more hesitant to take the trade. But if the confirmation is there, then I get pretty excited to go ahead and jump in and go for it, right? So, but yeah, this, like I said, this will be a good one, or should be a good one. Yeah, I'm pretty excited about it. But it's going to take some time. It's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen right away. I mean, it could happen overnight, but this is an H1 chart, so give it many hours to do what it needs to do. Like, to go back up to here, to go 200 pips in our favor, that's going to take many bars or many hours. So definitely just be patient. Okay. So that's a good trade to start the year with, you guys. I'm excited to see that one play out. And again, it is a swing trade, not the banker's close. The banker's close today is on this Euro franc, and we're just in a waiting pattern right now. And yeah, Sonar Lab, at least on H1, it's got it up here. But if you go to a 30-minute, they're saying right here there's some good supply. So that might send it lower. But it's going to be, we have to be patient. There's not a lot of news. There's not a lot of movement on this first good trading day of the year, which I'm so excited about. Don't get me wrong. I love the holidays. I think they're great. But gosh, they're long. And I'm excited to get back to kind of some normality, right? And get back to trading and back to a normal market, all those types of things. Super exciting. Plus just the fact that, a new year represents new opportunities and all that kind of stuff, and turning to things that are better, improving your skills and things like that for a new year is always awesome. Well, cool. So this is all I'm really waiting on right here. My plan with this is to hold until, let me pull this back over, this other chart over. I'm holding, looking to close out of most of these in this area right here. I may, or most likely will, if it does decide to do something like this up in here, this is a great area to sell. There's a ton of supply up in here. So if it does go up to there, just letting you know that I am going to be selling some more up there. Past this stop loss though, there's really no reason to stay in the trade at that point. It's doing something it shouldn't be doing. So I won't be adding to the trade past that stop loss. And then my goal would be to wait for it to pull back and then make our money on the way down. The other option is it just comes down right away and we make our money that way. One of those two things should happen, and I'm just waiting for either one to take place. But I just have to be patient and kind of sit on my hands at this point. But it's already been a good trading day. Like I said, most of my pips have come from that NZD catch short. NZD catch short overnight trade, which was awesome. And hoping to double that with not the bankers close will probably make, let's see, if I've only taken 7 trades and these make 50. Yeah, so we might make like 100 pips today about with the bankers close, maybe 50 to 100 pips today on the bankers close, which is fine. That's normal. But that franc yen trade, yeah, that should make another 1,000. Well, between the 10 trades that I've got on, should make over 1,000 pips. Yeah, that would be the expectation. It's like 100 pips per trade at least. So be a great way to start the year. We had a good way to end the year too. We had that bankers close trade from Friday last week. That was awesome. Did really well on that. We haven't, just for those that are curious, we haven't lost a bankers close trade since, I haven't lost the bankers close since the second Thursday in October. So we have a really good track record with this. As long as you use the overlays, like because we've modified the strategy over time. One of the greatest, I think, things that I've added to the bankers close that's really worked, you guys probably know what I'm going to say, is don't trade through news. Don't trade through anything that has had news within the last 12 hours or will have news in the next 12 hours. Okay. Give yourself that 24-hour radius or 12-hour radius, I guess, right? But 24 hours total, to protect yourself. The markets really act weird. They don't always do what they're supposed to do. 12 hours before a news event and 12 hours after, you can get some really crazy stuff happen as well. So, and the type of news we're talking about is like CPI, GDP, unemployment, FOMC meetings, rate statements, of course, those kinds of things. Any other random news event, I don't really care too much about. It's just the basic stuff that really affects currencies and the valuation of a currency. So rate statements are probably your number one thing to stay away from. But everything else I try to stay away from too, because there's so much to trade. We have so many different things we can trade. You might as well just keep it simple, keep it safe from all the other stuff. Because here's the thing, us being safe gives us confidence. We have confidence when we know, something. If we know that, hey, this trade works out most of the time, if not all the time, when there isn't news, well then, yeah, let's only trade the stuff that doesn't have news, right? Um, I always tell everybody, don't underestimate the power of 10 pips or 20 pips. If you can make 10, 20 pips a day, um, you're going to crush it. You're going to absolutely crush it. You can make a living off of 10 or 20 pips a day. Absolutely. Absolutely. So this is exciting. We'll see. I mean, it's taking its time for sure, but it's exciting because, we've got a good setup. Everything's looking good. Just let it play out, let it do its thing. And I'm excited because I'm already up 1.6% on my account today, first day of the year. I've got 972 pips in the bag and then 55 down unrealized, but that should change here before the end of the morning. That should turn positive too. So 100% I should end the day with over 1,000 pips of profit it actually booked, which I'm really excited about. Yeah, let's see what else I was going to say about this trade. Oh yeah, so the overlay. So one of the biggest things that I think changed the banker's close for me is I used to trade it, and I wasn't very good at trading it initially. And I think one of the reasons why I wasn't very good was because I was trading through anything. If the upper or lower Bollinger Band was breaking in that last hour before the market closed, I would just go ahead and get in. And sometimes that wouldn't work, right? And I kind of looked into my losers, like, okay, why aren't some of these working? And it had a lot to do with the fact that, hey, you're trading through stuff that's got fundamentals pushing the market. It's not necessarily price action, it's fundamentals pushing the market. So I was like, oh, okay, what if we can eliminate that? Let's not trade stuff through news. And sure enough, that helped a ton. So obviously this guy's slow, but I would rather take slow and consistent over something that's fast and may not work long term, right? So yeah, this guy, this will work. This trade will work out. We just have to be patient. I mean, it's already working. We're already up 2.6 pips on each trade. I mean, I want to get these up to about 10 pips a piece, and then we'll start closing some. 10 pips a piece, and then I'll be pretty happy. And then Frank Yen, yep, like I said, as a reminder, especially for those that just logged in or are watching the recording, the Frank Yen trade that I sent out this morning is a swing trade. It's a very valid trade setup. I'm actually down, as you can see, 18 pips per trade, 17 pips per trade. So if you got in now, you'd actually get a better entry than I do. But please treat it like a swing trade. And when I say treat it like a swing trade, what does that mean? So when you're doing a swing trade, your lot size needs to be set appropriately to handle a larger stop loss. So my stop loss is like 70 to 80 pips on that trade, but my target is like 160 pips. So it's a very appropriate reward to risk ratio. And yeah, you can make a lot of money on 180 pips. If that hits its target, yeah, you can make a lot of money on that. But be aware that with huge reward sometimes comes with slightly more risk, right? So I wouldn't ever take a banker's close trade with a stop loss of 80 pips. That's way too far. Banker's close doesn't need a loss like that. So you want to cut that down. And as a result, I take more trades and take a bigger trade on the banker's close because I'm not going for as many pips, right? Like on my other account over here on my other screen, I've got like 15 contracts short right now on the Euro franc. So that's $150 per pip. Okay. I don't know if I would do that on I wouldn't do that on the Frank yen. Okay. Frank yen, I actually do have 5 contracts long on the Frank yen. So it is $50 per pip. So yeah, it is a little bit of, I mean, what is my risk on that? So if I lose, let's talk about this. So like for me, 75 pips of loss times $50. So I could lose $3,750, but that's okay because the account, it's a $200,000 account, right? So that's like almost 2% of the account, not even 2% of the account if that trade loses. Okay. If the trade wins, and I get my 160 pips times 50, yeah, I'll make about $8,000 on the trade. But you can see that I've already thought through my management. But I'm not allowed to tell you what lot size to take. So you guys have to decide. And I mean, I wish I could do it all for you, but unfortunately, I'm not allowed to tell you what lot size to trade. I can show you what I'm doing, but then you guys have to decide what lot size you're going to get into. With the banker's close, I've got 15 contracts on, so it's $150 a pip. I'm trying to make 10 pips. So yeah, I'm trying to make, 10, 15 pips on the trade. So yeah, $1,500 would be what I'm trying to make today approximately with the Euro franc. Okay. This is a separate account. I have actually have 3 different accounts because I just started my challenge with Funded Trading Plus, which is super slick, by the way. I like those guys. They don't have a time limit. Um, they don't have a time limit on how long it takes to pass the challenge, which I think is super fair and awesome. Because if you guys go and trade with like FTMO is great too. I've got I've got an FTMO account. And I've done several or many free trial accounts with FTMO, which that's one of the best places to do a free trial, in my opinion, is with FTMO, because they let you have unlimited free trials. And so what I've been telling everybody is, how do you know when you're ready to apply for funding and get a funded account? I would say do a free trial with whoever you want. I've done it with FTMO just because that it's been the easiest way to do it. I love their dashboard and it's just super simple. So if you can pass a 14-day free trial challenge and you actually pass it, like everything, because everything, they have like 4 different things you have to do. If everything says passed, okay, it'll say not passed or passed. If everything says passed by the end of the 14 days, then you're ready to go. I would say you're a you're ready to be a tryout for funding. However, if you try a 14-day free challenge and you don't pass it in time, then don't start it. Don't do a challenge. Don't pull out your credit card and do a challenge yet. Do a challenge when you know you've got something that's working and you've actually been able to pass a challenge for free with it first. And ideally, you do it once or twice in a row, maybe like 2 times in a row. You do the challenge twice. If you pass it, you're probably ready. But you are the one that decides when you're actually ready. I can't even tell you, but that's what I've been doing personally, is if I want to try out a new strategy and use that strategy to pass a challenge, I will do a free trial challenge. If I pass, then I'll go ahead and pull out my credit card and pay for the audition fee. But if I don't, I know I got to change some stuff. I got to fix what I'm doing. I need some tweaking, and I've got to be humble enough to be like, yeah, this isn't working yet. And that's fine. You just got to figure it out. Right. I wanted to see if I can show you like on FTMO. One second. I'm going to see if I can pull this up here. I want to show you what it looks like when you've passed a challenge. And then I've also not passed challenge. I've actually failed challenges too. So I've got to make that clear. Let me see if I can show you what it looks like. Yeah. So, okay. So here's a challenge that I passed. This is what it looks like on FTMO. So it says a minimum of 5 trading days, and it says passed, right? I traded at least 9 days and I passed. Otherwise, it'll be a big red box that says not passed. Max daily loss, you can't lose more than $10,000 a day because that's 5% of a $200,000 account. So my worst drawdown at one point, I was down $4,917.17. And that's within the $10,000 threshold. So I'm okay, right? And so passed, right? At one point, my worst drawdown total from the baseline, I was down $2,572.56. You're allowed to go down $20,000. I only went down $2,572.56, so I'm good. Profit target was $10,000, so you had to make 10,000, but I ended up making $19,912.58, so I passed, right? I almost doubly passed, right? Like did really, really well. And then they show you other statistics. So you can see all the profits that were made. You can see my losing days here. My worst losing day was my first day. I lost $2,189. And then these are my winning days right here. I had a really big winner right here, $8,850 in one day. Another day where I made $5,700. And then one other losing day that was pretty small, right? So all of the statistics are here, which are really nice to take a look at and see. But if you can pass one of these, I'd say you're ready. You're ready to rock and roll. You can go for it. So, and the next company I'm going with is that Funded Trading Plus. And again, because FTMO, you have 30 days to make your 10% of your account. And that's kind of a lot. Like, I will be honest, like I have to do some really crafty things. Like, sure, you can absolutely make 10% on your account. I've seen people do it in a single day. I've seen people pass challenges in one day, but they're super risky and they have been honest with me. I've asked my friends who have done that, who have passed challenges in a single day, and I said, hey, do you ever fail challenges doing that? And they're like, oh yeah, all the time. I fail challenges all the time. But for them, they have so much money. It's like, I don't mind failing a challenge. For the convenience of being able to pass it like today. If they can pass today, then they get funding right away. I don't know if that's the best way to go. I would rather just trade like you would normally trade. Like if you're passing the challenge, um, if you're going to take a challenge, pass the challenge the same way that you would trade the funded account. Make it no different. Like, get that challenge passed. They're going to give you a funded account. Trade that account the same way you traded the challenge account. But if you're trading each one differently, I feel like that's just a recipe to fail challenges right and left. And don't be afraid if you lose a challenge, because if you fail a challenge, because everybody fails a challenge too. I mean, I've failed challenges. Everybody, I feel like if anybody who takes it seriously will eventually fail a challenge or multiple times. But if you can stay with it and keep to your rules, you will also pass many challenges. And that would be my goal for each one of you this year. I have a goal. I'll share some of my goals with you, but I'm looking to get about $1 million in funding this year from these different places. And I'm using my copy traders so that whenever I take a trade, it copy trades to all the other accounts. That's my goal this year, is to get many funded accounts. And my most recent one is with Funded Trading Plus. And so I'll let you guys know how that goes. But again, one of the reasons I love them so much is you don't have to hang on to or excuse me, there's no time limit. So you can take as long as you need to make the 10%, which is awesome. All right, I'm just waiting, right? Nothing I can really do. But what I do want to do with the last 5 minutes here is kind of put everything on autopilot so everyone can walk away today. I don't suggest that you sit in front of the computer and watch this trade for the next hour or two. I've done that before. It's not worth it, guys. It just, you'll close trades early when they get into profit and you won't let trades run. It's just a bad habit. So what I do is my routine is I have my 2 hours in the morning that I trade from 8 to 10. Half of that is with you guys, and then I'll do my little trading at night, but I'm not at the charts the rest of the time. Like if I come back to the charts today, it's to check up on how this did, but it's after I've left everything on an autopilot mode. So I can literally just walk away from the trade at that point. So that's what I suggest that you guys do too. I mean, you're welcome to just sit there, but I would try to be productive with the rest of your day. Whatever you got going, try to get those things done, and let the trade do what it needs to do. You will trade better if you do that. So here's what we need to do. We need to pull up Maytaf, right? And we need to see we need to go to Maytaf and we need to pull up the, when we trade in the Euro franc, right? And we want to find out what the average daily range is for Monday. And I might kind of change this a little bit for myself. Or I guess Tuesday, because we're not on Monday, right? I feel like it's Monday because it's the first day of the week that I'm trading, but it is Tuesday. So Tuesday is 64.3 pips. So if you take 64.3 and divide that by 4, technically your stop loss would be like 16 pips. So the stop loss for the rest of the day would be about 16. I might go a little more than that because 16 pips from where the market is right now is actually where there's a lot of supply. So I am actually not quite sure I want to do that. I mean, I don't think the market's going to go up there at this point. Let's see. It is possible though, because I've got most of my stops. Let's see, where do I have them? I guess they're up here. I can pull them in a little bit. I'm gonna go a little, I might go a half an average daily range. So I'm gonna go more like 30 pips. So I'm gonna put my stops up here. Because again, if the market comes into this area, I do want to add to the position. So I'm just going to move these in just a little bit, but not the full 16 pips. If you want to, you're more than welcome to, and you'll probably be fine. And it might be in your best interest. But for me personally, this is how I'm going to manage the trade for the rest of the morning is I'm going to put like 30 pips on the stop losses. So I just move those down a little bit. Targets, I'm going to keep about where they are. I really do think the market's going to come back and retest kind of this area right here, this consolidation. And so right through this alleyway, I want to take all my profits right through here. Okay. And the best thing I can do is just walk away, right? I may place just a couple of trades. In fact, I'll do this with you guys. Just in case this market does break a little bit higher, I am going to place just a couple of orders, not a ton, but something to scale in just a little bit to the trade. If it does go a little bit higher, I'm going to scale into that. And then, yes, just continue to put these, take profits in this alleyway right here, and you should be good right through here. Okay. That looks good to me. And then let me make sure that all those stop losses also match up with where I want them. I'm going to bring these stop losses down. Nice little slow trade. That's okay. Slow is good, guys. Slow is good. We just want consistency. That's all we want. Yeah, this will be good. The fact that it's bumping up into supply already at the end of the trading day with no news, here we are just smack dab at the banker's close right now. London market just closed a few moments ago. This is perfect. This is exactly what you and I want today. So should be good. I'll let those kind of glide into those take profits there. You'll get an update from me in the next little bit on Telegram. So keep an eye out on that. If anything changes, I will let you know. And again, as a reminder, with the open trade with the franc yen, that long position is a swing trade. So make sure that you're managing it as a swing trade. All right, guys. Appreciate your attendance. Thank you for coming, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.